with over 150 companies in the machining field, and they hired direct out of our school. So we're a one-stop shop for those looking to either looking for a new career or to branch out from the career that they're already in. And thank you for letting me be here.
Awesome, thank you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Jennifer Swoboda. I'm a parole agent specialist for Orange County. I run the parole community and team meetings in Orange County, and very happy to be here and see everybody this morning.
All right, Lisa.
Hi, good morning. I'm Lisa Nomura. I am very happy to be here. I work together with Megan in HumanWorks as a trainer at LA Brownies in Goodwill Industries. Sorry, I've been off for a while. So also too, I work together and I'm one of the coordinators for Orange County's Freedom Fest. That was our first annual last year, and Jennifer and I worked together to organize that. I also am a new employee for CCWP, California Coalition for Women's Prisoners, and I am their newest employee over membership organization. So that's just a little update on myself. So thank you.
And you're graduating, right?
Oh, yeah, soon, graduating soon.
And you're graduating from Cal State.
Yeah.
So congratulations. Please make sure that you put your information in the chat, so that way we can make sure that we capture it if you're new or maybe we haven't gotten in the past, so that we can continue to keep you updated. I promise I don't send a lot of communications out. It's strictly our recap email and our reminder email, just so you all can save room in your inbox. I know we get a lot of emails these days. So I'm Megan Langston with HumanWorks, and also your chair. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Angela.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Angela, or Angie. And as you know, I am kind of in like a dual role with Megan. I'm the administrative facilitator for HumanWorks Foundation. And then I also am your secretary for OCCAP. I'm really excited. I haven't been able, because of school schedules and traveling. I am going to be moving to Puerto Rico, so I was gone for a little bit traveling. I haven't been able to be at a meeting, and that hasn't been good for me because I missed out on all the information and all the networking. So I did put in a little intro inside the chat, just a welcome, just a reminder again that it is Second Chance Month. So I really encourage a lot of reposting on your social media. We only have like a few days left of the month, just to kind of continue the push and remind that we need to collaborate and become allies of those who have been impacted by the justice system. If you do have any flyers or anything to share with me, Megan and I are really good at aggregating all of those and putting them in the recap email. So please feel free to email me anytime with all of them, and I'll make sure that they get attached to our recap email. Okay.
Thanks, Angela. Lori.
Thank you, Megan. Hi, I'm Lori Friedman, and I'm with Family Financial Management. I am here as your financial resource. So if you have any questions as to credit, repair, debt management, establishing credit, any actual financial question, I can probably answer, or I can at least find the answer for you. So I'll put my information in the chat, and great to see everybody again. Thanks, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you, Lori. Melody.
Good morning. I'm Melody Cantrell with the Orange County Sheriff's Department and Meat Services Division, and I supervise all the programs over here at the Lacey facility.
Awesome. Thank you, Melody. Rosario.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Rosario. I'm an outreach assistant here at Hope Builders. We provide free career training for people between the ages of 18 to 28. It's completely free, and we help with career placement once they're done as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome. Giovanna. Hopefully I said that correctly.
It's correct. Good morning. My name is, sorry, there's two of us in here. Can you hear me?
We can. I think you must be in the same room with someone else. And their microphone's probably on.
There you go.
There.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Giovanna Flores, I took over Wendy Salcedo's position here at Santa Ana's Data Reporting Center with Geo. I am the job developer here, as well as my partner, which is, we both are fairly new. I am about a month and a half in.
Well, welcome. And then you, is it
Magali.
Magali? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Magali Giron Cervantes. I am the second job developer here at the Santa Ana Data Reporting Center. Very new, just started, so I'm very excited to see what the CAP meeting's about.
Well, awesome. Thank you for being here, and hopefully you'll be able to make some connections that you haven't already made. Start networking. Dominic, welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Dominic Mexico, Orange County Sheriff's Department Inmate Services Division, and excited to be here and support Megan and her team with the Lived Experience Program.
Thank you so much for your support, Dominic and Melanie, for that. Arturo.
Hi, good morning, folks. My name is Arturo Hernandez. I'm a senior rehabilitation counselor with the State of California Department of Rehabilitation. We're a state agency that provides employment services, support with training, and any other ancillary type services that folks are going to need to become gainfully employed.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Carol.
Good morning. Carol Uri, Returning Home Foundation. I have a little thing to report, which I've also posted to Megan. And that was yesterday, the Biden-Harris administration expanded the second chance opportunities for formerly incarcerated persons. If you haven't heard about it, I invite you to read about it. It's about 10 pages. It's our mantra, by the way. It's advancing successful reentry outcomes, makes our communities safer, disrupts cycles of economic hardship, and strengthens our economy. Improving reentry is also a key part of comprehensive strategy. So we've got somebody behind us, and I just wanted to announce that to you all. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Carol. And I'll send it to Angela so that she can include it in the recap email for everyone to read. Gentlemen.
Hi, everyone. Jenilyn Sanchez with Chrysalis. We're a nonprofit agency that is focused on helping individuals with addressing their barriers to employment through providing one-on-one support and resources. Our program is offered right now both virtually and in person. So I'll be sure to put my information and our flyers in the chat. If anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you all for being here. And then we will, Antonio, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then you can, tell us about yourself, your journey, how you grew up, how you became justice impacted or justice involved, what led you to turn your life around, what programs have helped you, and then any of your future plans and goals that you have, because I know there's a lot.
Well, just to start off, good morning, everyone. And I look very stiff in that picture. I guarantee you I'm not stiff at all. It's the tailor-made. I'm just kidding. My name is Omi, by the way, H-O-M-M-Y, Antonio Torres. I don't go by Omi because Omi sounds too much like homie. And I have a lot of trauma from high school. I'm kidding again. But I just do not use the name because it sounds a lot like homie, and where I work, it gets into conflict. There's too much conflict with it. So only my family call me that, and my friends here, you're more than welcome to call me Omi. It's actually a song from the Caribbean that came out in 1974, if you guys are interested in looking it up. So about my journey, I grew up in a home. My mom was a lawyer. My dad was an entrepreneur. They were older folks. They were born in the 20s. But along with that, because they were kind of antiquated folks. They left me alone a lot at home, and I had to find something to do. And little by little, I started feeling like a little repressed, abandoned. And so something happened where my mom started taking me with my aunt to Highland Park, California, and I started hanging out at the local high school, playing basketball with my cousin, and there was a lot of kids there. These kids happened to be local kids that were already part of the gang. Within months, I was running around with them. I would tell my little cousin, hey, don't tell, my aunt that I'm not gonna be back home tonight. Just tell her that I'm at the basketball court. And so that's where it really began. They accepted me. I wanted acceptance. I chose to be a part of a situation that like really gave me back some reciprocity or feedback. And although I didn't grow up like them, I was run of the mill. I decided that I wanted to continue to go to school because I was a day person. I didn't like staying up at night. I was not nocturnal, and I was like in your face with everybody. So that led to me joining a gang, and my parents kicked me out of the house. Since they passed away eons ago, I can actually say this out loud now. My dad actually kicked me out of the house and rented a 3-bedroom home for me, called the school so that they can come pick me up. I went to a private school and everything was child. But I grew up that way. I grew up very independent. I went as a child and got a job, even though I was going to school. And I started getting in trouble. I started hanging out with my friends. I got arrested for GTA one time, just by being by a vehicle. I went to Central Juvenile Hall. I ended up visiting Camp Carl Holton, and finally made it to YA. I did graduate from high school 2 years early, so that gave me even more idle time to get in trouble. And that's why I went to YA, because my parents and my sister had got into a horrible accident, which collected them when I was 17 in 1993. And that really set a course for me. I, was released from YA after about a year. I enrolled into Arizona State University. I actually went there for a very long time, graduated, but the neighborhood still had a hold on me. I was an emotional illiterate. Academically, I can tell you about the retrospinal cortex and how it works. But when it came to actually talking about my emotions and how I dealt with them and the broad range of them, I equated everything with being mad or happy, circumstantial and uncircumstantial. And that really set a course for me. So in 1998, I, a chivalrous act got me about 9 years in prison for carjacking. And while I was in the county jail, I picked up 8 more years. Then I went to prison, and if I thought that was going to be a deterrent, I was sadly mistaken. Because I just kept, ostracizing myself even more because I was in pain. I didn't realize how much pain I was in until I was confined within the prison for 9 whole years. That really set a course for me to become indifferent. And excuse me for saying this out loud, but just thinking about it is bringing back a lot of that stuff. But when I get triggered, I get enthusiastic about talking about it, right? But what ended up happening with me was there was a lot of fulfillment and peace in my solitude, which was how I grew up when I was with my parents. I learned how to find peace in my solitude. But here I am in my 20s and 30s, trying to figure out who this little boy was. And I let my hair grow. I had, it takes me like a day to grow a beard. And I had this, Grizzly Adams thing going on. And like, I really didn't care about myself anymore. Self-care wasn't even a thing. And I had all my, hygiene products in in a little white cup. You know, I didn't use shampoo. I used it to clean up and stuff, but you know, my mind and my body, they weren't connected anymore. And I was trying to figure out who I was. And I realized that I didn't want to be caged up anymore. I realized that that peace that I was seeking wasn't coming because I was indifferent and I just didn't care about anything anymore. It was coming from my body actually telling me, hey, there's more to this. There's more to be had. You know, there's a process out there. You know, I was talking with somebody earlier today about actually Angela, about processes and outcomes, and like there was healing in my process, and that's what I was doing. I was detoxing years and years of pain, and I hadn't even realized it. So, you know, 9 years passed by and I, you know, only saw daylight. You know, I used to play, you know, watch the plane pass by, right? And I realized that I wanted to see the sun. I wanted to do things with my life that were a privilege for me, to like actually walk on my own to medical or do those things, because I never did those things. I never ordered a pair of shorts in there to run around and play handball. I never, I could never, you know, have a regular pencil or a pen. I drew with a golf pencil, for God's sakes. And I just didn't know what that meant anymore. So I wanted to have those small little things, because I knew I started learning how to appreciate the little things. When I go to interviews, or when I used to go to interviews, they used to ask me all the time, like, how do you define success? And I used to hijack interviews. Anybody who interviews me, you know, I hijack interviews. And because I'm a little too quick, and I used to tell them, well, you know, I'm colorblind, I'm a monochromatic, so I pay attention to detail a lot. And that's it, you know, interview's over, but like, that's me. That's my story. I pay attention to the details. So friends outside used to have folks walking around, you know, the confinement areas. They're called, you know, I don't know if they call them anymore shoes. I don't even know if they're around anymore, but and they used to do something called conflict resolutions. And so you're not supposed to talk to these people or take meds or do whatever, because it's the rules. And so I decided to break the rules. And I spoke to this young lady. She was cuter than a speckled puff, I'll tell you. And she was very surprised to hear me speak. And I was very surprised, like, yeah, to hear myself speak, because I just didn't speak to myself openly. It was all in my mind. And we had a conversation. I didn't know that the warden to a different prison happened to be passing by with a bunch of kids from Stanford up north. And he listened to my conversation. The next day he came back and opened my door. Like, he just opened it. No gear, no nothing, no COs around him. He knew who I was, you know? And he asked me, what are you willing to give up? Well, in my mind, I heard, who are you willing to give up? And I was like, I'm good with that. You know, like I'm okay. You know, you're lucky I'm saying these words to you now. I'm okay. And so he came back the next day and said, hey, pendejo. He was Arabian, but he said the word pendejo. And sorry for saying that out loud again. I'm asking you a question. What are you willing to give up? And in my mind, I had to like really think, okay, this is a mainstream people asking questions. You know, like, I've been so locked up in my own head that I couldn't even pay attention or couldn't even figure out what he was saying. And so the first thing that jumped out of my mind with a lot of emotion, I still remember it today, was violence. I don't ever want to put my hands on anybody anymore. And I don't ever want to, you know, hurt people, because I'm hurt. I'm tired of hurting. So I don't want to do to anybody else how I'm feeling inside. Like, I got to move my tie inside. I'm going to have you out of here in 2 hours. I did not believe that. CDC or 2 hours, not happening. So he came back, true to his word. An hour and 59 minutes later, I had an e-tron clear radio. So I saw the time, it was exactly 1 hour and 50. I don't even think it was by design, but that's neither here or there. He had me in Kern Valley in 2 hours, in 2 to 3 hours, I would say. It's not that far from Corcoran. The captain over there at inmate classification had me in a job within a week. It's almost like if they were in, coordinating this. And within 2 months, the folks from Amity were recruiting people to go down to Donovan. They needed a scribe. My penmanship is amazing. I can write in italics, I can caps, anything you can. I had a lot of practice. And they loved me. I was overqualified because I was so violent. I was overqualified because I was articulate. I was overqualified because I was just, a caged animal. In this business, you're overqualified when you're a bad person, mean person. Imagine going to an employer for LA Unified School District and telling them what you have done. They'll probably like kick me out of there and call the cops, right? But in this business, they want folks like me. I was accepted for the first time. Somebody said to me, "Welcome home." And I went to Amity, and the rest of his history. I learned how to understand my philosophy of life, adopting their philosophy. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. And that's an understatement by Ralph Waldo Emerson, but it's true. And it's in our philosophy. I picked up the traditions. They have 13 of them. Number 10 is my favorite. We practice forms only to achieve essence. I really took this information and ran with it. I understood what a TC, teaching and therapeutic community, was, what the modality was, which is a whole person modality. I understood the history of Frank Buckman and Bill Wilson. I mean, I'm not a drug addict. I never did the drugs. That's why I left that part out, because I just didn't do drugs. So if you were ambiguous about it, I didn't do the drug thing or the drinking thing. And I still don't. I just don't understand the reason. There's a lot of, dopamine going on in here already. So I don't need it. Secretion too, by the way. But the thing is I was able to be encouraged with a whole different modality that I was able to accept in my life, because I was willing to understand and make it a point that I had a problem. And as long as I talked about my problems, I was fixing myself. It's kind of like human beings. How often do they take themselves to the shop? We take our cars after 40, 50,000 miles, or 30, right? I ride a motorcycle, so who the hell knows? But when does a human being take himself or herself to the shop? And I was in the shop every day. They made me into an intern. They made me into an intern. Then I graduated and they made me into a mentor. Then I graduated that and they made me into an elder. Then I graduated being an elder and I became a demonstrator. I had a tutelage. I had 12 guys in the morning, 12 in the afternoon. For the guys who worked in the morning, they came at night. And my circles were static. I was a rock star. I became a rock star because I learned my wide range of emotions. Now it wasn't just about circumstance. Now it was about, if I had joy and I was feeling joy, you couldn't take that from me. Finally I found peace in the prison system. And I appreciated every day what CDC had allowed. I do appreciate them today. I don't have anything bad to say about them. I'll just keep that there. But I'm very appreciative of what Naya Arbiter did with the Amity Foundation 40 years ago. I appreciate what Chuck Dieterich did with Synanon, the very first TC. I appreciate what Frank Buckman did with the Oxford group. All those things, all these pioneers, George De Leon and Corey Sakagami, the director. I mean, these people are amazing. They do a lot of great things. And they did all that for me, I felt. They did it for anybody who was willing to take it, you know, and they don't throw people away. And so in the interim of it, I realized that I didn't have a 12-step program. So I adopted the 5 C's that Amity has. And I did this from 2009 all the way to 2019. And I opened up, I gotta say this, Jerry Brown passed all kinds of laws to have educational programs in prison. But then he didn't give money for these educational programs so that we can utilize the milestones. So everybody had to scramble to see how we were gonna do this. I didn't care about that because I didn't know whether I was gonna go home or not. Because remember, I had my piece already. So they shut down all the SAPs throughout all of California, which is substance abuse programs. And since I wasn't a lifer and I had a bunch of time, I said, hey, well, what do I do with my time? How do I atone? How do I live in my living amends? So I started, you know, soliciting to see how I can open up circles. And I opened up ill tags, and I was the only non-lifer that was in the lifer groups. And I was giving and teaching cutting edge information through extensions, the curriculum extensions, and through anything that Albert Ellis would come up with that was antiquated and I could turn into something more mainstream, which is RBET, rational emotive behavioral therapies, rather than just CT, because that didn't have, it only had action and consequence and not a belief in the middle. And so I just got all my studies together, and in the interim of doing all of this for myself, I ended up having a big following where even wardens were like asking me to do stuff. And now I'm like, what? You want me to do what? Oh my God. Like, I'm going to sit in a meeting next to the warden from Pelican Bay and Donovan. Like, how does that work? Like, woo, woo. But I felt like I wasn't a part of that anymore. My paradigm have completely shifted from something that was paralyzing me. And so I didn't see officers as authority. I saw them as people now. I'm going to tell you something very quickly. An officer was complaining about that one of the blades to his boat chipped, and he was pissed about it. And I remember thinking in my mind, overhearing this, waiting to go into medical. I said, wow, his problems are my dreams. I was like, I'm not ever going to get on a boat, but those are the problems that I want to have, right? And I found peace, and I found gratefulness, and I found self-care and giving to others in these circles. Everywhere I went, my points started dropping. I started disassociating myself from the social norms that I was used to. And they asked me one day, hey, you know, come to the program office. We have some paperwork for you to sign. And I'm like, where am I going? Am I going to another prison? So now in my mind, I'm like, okay, I got to get my books. I got to hide this book here and hide this book there. You know, I don't care about the clothing that I bought. I'll leave that behind, but I'm taking my books with me, my extension books. I don't care about anything else. I'll fight tooth and nail just to keep my books, because that's where I teach from. And the counselor tells me, no, you're going home. That was a moment. Whew. That was a moment when they told me this caged animal is going home. I was like, what? No. Seriously? Hold on. Let me go outside and like do the whole Toyota dance, you know? And he was serious. He was like, no, we're going to have a meeting tomorrow with the warden, and they're going to actually let your violent ass go. I had just started going to school, you know, because I wanted something different. Like being in circle all day wasn't wasn't very satisfying anymore. I needed something more. My mind just goes crazy. And I ended up, I wish I can see you. I can't see anybody, but I wish you can guess where they sent me. You can't make the stuff up. They sent me to 3745 South Grand Avenue, a place I had seen for over a decade, learned from, studied from, became an elder and demonstrator through. They sent me to the hub of where it started, the Amity Foundation. It was a four C's a long time ago, but they sent me to my home. I used to think that Central Juvenile Hall was my first home, but I replaced that one for a sanctuary, and I knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew what morning gatherings were. My 24-hour wake cycle had completely dissolved itself of anything bad. I used to hear people talking about, I'm antisocial. No, you're alpha social. You don't like to be around people because you're hurting. Antisocial means that you don't follow social norms. And my social norms were built exactly for this. And I was home. I got off parole in 7 months. What the hell? 7 months. Violent offender, crazier than like about 30 people, right? Because now I'm yelling. Now I'm saying enthusiasm all day long. You know, now you have students coming to me, asking me to do stuff for them. Like people are like, I'm a commodity now. I'm not expendable. And it felt really good to be wanted. It felt really good to be accepted. It finally felt good to do something that I just didn't have an expectation for. If that makes any sense. I just found a lot of peace. And in between that, I met a lot of people. I talked to billionaires. I talked to a lot of folks in different with different foundations. I actually took the retail cohort that Megan and Angela, like it was one of the funnest times that I had. And I wasn't planning on doing it. You know, I wasn't planning on doing it, but I had some guys on there and I wanted to like support them. And I ended up going through it. And I was like, really, I was at home and I'm taking this thing and I'm just like, I'm digging on it and it's very informative and it like really the omni-channel, the seamless stuff that they were talking about. I was like, wow. And I'm able to speak more clearly to a lot of folks in terms of retail because I'm on my 3rd year today of a business administration bachelor's, a BBA. It's like a bachelor's and a master's put together. It's not for the faint of heart, I'll tell you that. If you're 46 like me, do not go back to school to take business education, business administration. Unless you have 30 people wallowing inside here. But what's important to know at this point is that, yes, I lost my family. Yes, I lost my dignity, but I regained all those things because my family are the friends that I choose now. If I get into a relationship, it's hard for me to get into a relationship with a woman now because I have to start with, oh, by the way, I was incarcerated for 22 years and 2 months. Like that doesn't go well. Like, yeah, they look at me, oh yeah, ooh, nice, handsome guy. But when they hear my history, it's kind of like, whoa, I'm good. And then I drive a motorcycle, so I'm a liability, apparently. That's a quote, you're a liability. So now what I do is I started working for Amity. And I'm a counselor. Imagine that. They talk about it being a circumference, right? A full circle, but I think what happened to me was my dad used to say that everything that happens to me for my complete benefit. Nowhere in that sentence was it negative or positive, but in a situation like this, it's a pro-negative. I'm always looking for the way out, you know, but there's positive cons, right? And now I don't want to confuse anybody, but like my goals now are just to make my bones here at Amity. I'm probably revealing a red carpet, no, but they're gonna actually open up a men's community in the IE. I'm excited about that, and they asked me to come along, and I'm going because one doesn't exist for the Inland Empire. And I'm very excited about that because it's gonna be strictly MCRP. And I know that this is my life's work now. How am I gonna go through all of that and not give it away? But I'm also gonna graduate in July of 2023, a year from July. And I always start and finish things, but this time, instead of sharpening something and hurting people, I'm actually sharpening my mind so that I can bring more awareness to people. Because I'm gonna take down Amazon. Just remember my name. I'm gonna take down Amazon and Walmart, hopefully, if I'm not too old. But those are my goals. My goals is to really, help as I've been helped. And I just want to say this last thing. I'm in a habilitation situation. I'm not trying to recover anything. I'm not trying to recover anything that gave me trauma, and I'm not trying to trauma bond with people. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to heal within the process and not the end of it. I'm not a needy person. I live in a little studio and I ride a motorcycle that belongs to me. And I really love my life. But the one thing that I can tell you is, if I'm being honest with myself today, completely honest with myself today, I never had a first chance, even though I grew up in a home where, we live in Brentwood and I can see the roofs of people's houses, and I wanted to slide down them with, a makeshift sled or jump my remote control cars because they were really expensive cars. I just never had my first chance. And this is a debate anywhere I go, but I'll tell you what, it's not a debate about what I hear, what I feel inside here. This is my first chance and I cannot squander this. It's an amazing moment for me. But like, I feel like joy. I feel privileged to be amongst you. I feel privileged to talk to people from Guatemala that want to start, something like for the company that I work for, because it's a corporation now, let's just face it, right? But I want to let you know that this is my first chance. And for anybody who's trying to rediscover or recover, or I am in recovery, I don't want to ever go back to that. I want to look forward. It says there's a question right here in front of me that says, what are your future plans and goals? I'm here. This is what I want to do. There is no plan or a goal. I practiced my form to achieve my essence while I was in there, and I found my peace in there. Now I get to apply it. So I just wanted to thank you so much, Megan, and Angela, for giving me this opportunity to speak. I'm a Jack ASS in my own respect. Always been like that. That's not ever gonna change. But I do appreciate everybody who's on this panel to hear my story, because like my story is not unlike anybody else's, but everybody tells their story as fiercely as if they've never told it before. And there's only one or two human stories, and we all have to kind of like fall in line with one of them. But like, I'm not gonna exaggerate mine. In fact, I didn't exaggerate enough, but I just don't want to relive those things anymore. I just want to tell you that I do appreciate it, and you're gonna be seeing a lot of me if I'm around. So thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Antonio. You did an amazing job sharing your story. I'm sure you could go, for hours telling your story. You have so many unique experiences that I think add to everyone. Being able to assist other individuals that we serve in the community. I remember the first day of the training when you told me that you wanted to take down Amazon. I just couldn't help but laugh, and I'm sure most of the other people here, when you said that, they had the same reaction. And also, good for you. Hopefully you can do it. I can say that you are a very persistent individual and determined on helping people. And when I texted you yesterday, in the conversation that we had, it's when you serve this population, there's a lot of emotions. We tend to get emotional with the individuals that we serve, because we know that they can do better, they can transition back into the community, but it is about that choice that they make to do it, to make that choice to transition, not to go back. So when they make choices that, go against that, it hurts us, right? Because we know that they deserve better, but sometimes in reality, they don't feel that they deserve it yet. And I'm glad that you understand that you do deserve everything that you have, because you have worked for it. So I appreciate you sharing your story. Does anybody else want to say anything to Antonio?
This is Addie from Connecting Bridges Together. That story is amazing and powerful. And when people share their stories, I think sometimes we don't realize that we impact people with the truth. And your truth is very powerful. And I want to commend you with all the accomplishments that you have done. And I truly hope that you continue your path with your vision. That's all I could say, is that's something that I definitely would love to in any way offer any of my services to be part of that vision. That's amazing and very impactful.
Amity Foundation.
Thank you.
Lucky to have you.
So I just wanted to say this last thing that occurred to me when Megan was speaking. When guys get out, they're supposed to make mistakes. I really want to let this panel know that they're supposed to make mistakes. That is, last night when I was texting with Megan, she was just, giving me a heads up. Hey, remember tomorrow. I don't show it. I've learned how to not be explosive, because I could get not explosive, but really loud. Because I'm very enthusiastic inside, and nobody can rob me of that anymore. I'm not happy ever, because that's very circumstantial. But I do want to say that when these guys mess up and they give me a dirty test, or I catch them doing something, or they have an illegal phone that they're not supposed to have, or they stopped for about 15 minutes at a corner that they're not supposed to be on because they accidentally on purpose ran into their wife that they're not supposed to be seeing off campus, and they have to go back. I think of Chino. I think of all the good work we did. I think of when you leave from Amity, there's a politic that when you go back, you're going to get in trouble. I think about those things. But if they can't make their mistakes wherever they are, whether it's in a county or a rehabilitation program or a habilitation program like what we offer, then what's the point? They're supposed to be making their mistakes. They're supposed to make mistakes. That's the whole purpose of rehabilitation, you know? But when they can't act out and make mistakes, they say, see, Anthony, I told you. Yeah, you did tell me. And Megan made, you know, she said it eloquently. I can't follow up with what she says, but she basically let me know that I can't really put that on my shoulders, that they understand what they get into. I get that. But they're still allowed to make mistakes because they were raised by wolves and they didn't never get. And I'm sorry to say that about parents, but like they were. I know I was. And I can relate to that. So like if be a little more compassionate toward these guys. They're making mistakes because they're supposed to be making them. When I was in prison, I made my mistakes in prison so that I wouldn't get out here and make mistakes. So that when I went into the general society, that I wouldn't make my mistakes. Yeah, not everybody's doing what I was doing, but I was practicing because I never wanted to come back to these places. But I really want to like really double down on that. If they make mistakes, it's not that we're enabling the situation. There's sanctions for that. But sending them back to prison, that's like a really big act. You know, it's too much. You know, it's very hurtful to the families that believe in us as folks who work with these special populations. So, you know, we go backwards and we send a message to folks on the street that nobody's really going to help them except for them. And I just don't know what to say about that, but I do understand that at one point they have to have the ability to respond with dignity, and they also have to be culpable for their decisions. But if they stop to get a kiss or God knows what else, sex, whatever, they shouldn't be going back to prison for that because they're supposed to be playing cat and mouse with us until they get it. That's the whole point. They're not getting out reformed. Believe me, when they get here, they don't leave their luggage their emotional luggage in the prison. They bring it with them. It's just geographically is a different place. Mm-hmm. And once they get here, what happens? Oh, that's my cell. That's the chow hall. That's the laundry, but there's no signage anywhere. So they have to be forced to communicate with each other, and that starts the process. But if we don't get to do our jobs and play our many different roles, it really takes us out of the game. Mm-hmm. And that's where I get emotional, Megan and Angela. That's where I really, really get emotional because you didn't even give me a chance. That's where I'm at with that.
Mm-hmm. Antonio, I wanted to thank you for sharing your story. A couple of things. I am also just as involved, and so your story. I was a long-termer who basically, when you said you did your time as a long-termer who did their time like a lifer, 100% I understood because I was the same way. I started LTACs too, and so I love hearing your story and how it ran parallel to my own. It makes me appreciate my own journey as well. A couple of things you said that stood out to me was detoxing years of pain. That stood out to me. That was very impactful because it made me look into myself and ask myself, have I really done that? And so I thank you for giving me that to think about. Another thing you said was someone's problems are another person's dreams. And so I'm very grateful that I'm home now and I get to be able to live that exactly, just how stressing about bills and things like that. I dreamed in prison to have those issues and those things, and I get to live that today. And I know a lot of my brothers and sisters are in there wishing they had my life today. The other thing you said was, this is my one chance and I don't want to squander it. I was telling somebody that just this last week about how much drive I have to make sure that doesn't happen. And I just take advantage and take hold of every opportunity that comes along my path. And I am grateful to hopefully work with you in the future. You are a fireball of energy and enthusiasm, and I would love to do some work with you. So I look forward to seeing you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa, for those words of encouragement and appreciation for I'm just glad that, you know, you came through our class, you know, last year, and I got to meet you, and, you know, I love what we do, the work that we do. So I appreciate you. So thank you so much. We're gonna move on and let Steve do his presentation.
Well, that is gonna be a hard act to follow right there. Wow.
He's like, okay, I didn't realize what I was following now.
Enthusiastic. Yes. Enthusiasm.
Well, a little bit about NTMA training centers and what we are doing for the reentry population. I've been with NTMA now going on 4 years. When I first joined the NTMA family, we weren't as involved as we are now. We were attending maybe one or two back meetings a year. Now we attend every opportunity we get. We're in Orange County, Riverside County, LA County. We have worked with Friends Outside in the past to place individuals within our program. You know, it's been a great growth opportunity, not just for NTMA, but for me personally, to see individuals come through our program and really how the program has reshaped their lives. We are blessed with working with a network of companies throughout these counties that I just mentioned that are looking to hire. You know, whether they're owned by those that have been released and open their own companies, they're looking to give advantages to those people that really don't feel like they have anything to look forward to. You know, it's either A or B. It's either you're going to keep going down the road that you're going down, or you know, it's going to be spending the rest of your life, you know, just struggling. So again, NTMA, our story is let us bring you in. Let us show you what the NTMA family is about. We've been doing this since 1968. We're a nonprofit. You know, we do one thing and one thing only. We train you how to use your mind, your hands, your body to place you in industries that are begging for people, especially now. Throughout the pandemic, we were open. We were deemed a essential business. Unfortunately, with the closing of everything throughout California, we had to go virtual. You know, and prior to COVID, we were pulling 50, 60 PAC members a month coming through our program. Our school starts classes every 6 weeks. So it was a great opportunity for people to come through, really understand what machining is about, really talk to the employers, talk to students that are there that have gone through the program, introduce them to our graduates, you know, let them know, hey, here's what the opportunities are. Really, it's not a hard sell at all. But once you come to our campus and you look at what the opportunities are, it's hard for people to walk out and not be impressed and not go, hey, that's something I want to be a part of. We give you it's basically a one-stop shop. We're located in Santa Fe Springs, so it's really easy for us to accommodate anybody coming from, you know, LA, Orange County. As I mentioned, we do go to Riverside. We've got a lot of Riverside graduates that have gone on to successful careers. We work with companies like SpaceX, Apple Computers, and Boeing that really don't care about your background and what you might have done. It's all about the opportunity of giving somebody, you know, the passion, they're looking for commitment, to make sure that you show up every day, you want to work hard, you want to build something. These companies are not just there to make their products, but you know, they're evolving every day. It's something brand new. As I mentioned, every 6 weeks, our classes start. Every 6 weeks, we have a company come on campus and say, hey, we want you guys to make this part for your curriculum. Right now, we're working with Fender guitars out of Corona. We're making guitar parts at our school. Prior to that, we had Tesla come in. We were making aluminum fenders and hubcaps for them. So it's real life real materials, real type of stuff that you guys can, that our students can actually put into a portfolio, put into a briefcase, show employers, this is what I do. You know, and again, it's a great journey for us at NTMA to see how our students evolve. You know, it could be a high school kid, it could be somebody in their 50s or 60s looking to just, you know, do something with the rest of their lives. And, you know, that's what really drives us. And again, we do this since 1968. We placed over 80,000 men and women in great careers. You know, so right now we offer 3 classes, morning, afternoon, and night. We facilitate everybody's schedule. We encourage those who can to work part-time, full-time. But we do have internship programs now with a lot of robotics companies that have come to us. We are a sponsor for Discovery Channel's BattleBots program. So there's opportunities for our students to be on TV. Last month, we had them actually come out to our campus and actually film there of our students making parts. 2 of our PACT members that we signed up were actually in that video. So stuff like that, we're more than encouraged to just share with the population. We have 5 modules. We teach everything from hands-on, manual machining, all the way to CNC and, as I mentioned, robotics. So you're getting everything in 7 months, and it's fast. It's fast-paced. It's not for everybody. You know, we let people know that when they walk in the door. If you're not going to put the commitment in for 7 months, we'd rather you do something else, because our employers are looking for the cream of the crop, the people that want to, you know, put the time and effort in to help them grow. And again, our employers they're godsend. They really, when I say they don't really care about your background, they're really looking for hard workers. I mean, that's what it comes down to, is they are going to facilitate everything that you need to help you become a better person. And that's what NTMA's mantra is about. You know, put the time and effort in. We're going to be there. NTMA since 1968 has been a lifetime job placement at career college. So if you're a graduate from NTMA and you graduated 20 years ago, you want to come back and you want to work for SpaceX, we're going to get you a job at SpaceX. If you want to go to work at Fender Guitars, I mentioned, we're going to get you a job at Fender Guitars. Harley Davidson is one of our sponsors. We're actually making aluminum face shields for the bikes right now. So these are just again real life, real hands-on programs. Actually, the Harley Davidson face shields, when I go to PAC meetings, I actually have one that we show off, and everybody's I was always asking to take it home, but again, we're just something we show. It's just something that our students make. So yeah, it's a great program. If you wanted to scroll through the rest of that, these are just the modules 1 through 5. Again, you're gonna learn mills, grinders, buffers. You're gonna learn CNC, mills and lathes, and programming. And then you get to robotics. With the program, you get a laptop computer, all your shop tools. You get your dress shirts, your shop shirts, your hats, your backpacks, everything you need to be successful within the program. Our employers come to our school. So you're once the students are around the 5 or 6 month mark, they're going to start interviewing. There's no sending people out. We have job fairs every 6 months. Again, anywhere from 10 to 12 employers come to our facility. We have a huge upstairs hall where everything's spaced out, especially during COVID times. We had everything laid out to conform to the CDC guidelines. And we've been doing this. We've been doing this for the last 3 years as best as we can. But now that things are opening up again, we're here trying to make sure people know this is an opportunity for those that want to work hard, like working with their hands, really looking for a career that's going to last them a long time. If you want to go to the next one, starting pay right now is anywhere between $18 to $22 an hour. That's for a manual machinist. Majority of our students that come to our school are looking to become CNC programmers, robotics type people. Those individuals who graduate from our school, they're making anywhere between $30 to $35 an hour. All of our employers right now are asking for overtime. So you're looking at a pretty big paycheck when you graduate from our school. And again, we work with both union and non-union shops. Yeah. Another great thing about our school is it's not just for men. Women, believe it or not, they come through our program. They actually get placed quicker than their male counterparts do. They actually make more money than their male counterparts do. Whether it be for inspection of parts, whether it be for just the detail of reading blueprints and running the machines. We don't know what it is, but we've gone from a 3% women student base to a 23% base. Again, we bring in people throughout the community. It's not just reentry. It's those it's high schools, as I mentioned, any age group. To be part of our program, we only ask that you be over 18 years old and either have a GED or high school diploma. We have funding throughout our program because we're a nonprofit. We're now currently working with about 14 different funding sources to get those, especially the reentry program, to get their schooling paid for in full. We just ask them to come down to our facility, talk to our financial aid advisors, and make sure that they qualify for as much funding as they possibly can get. And even some of that funding can even go towards housing and transportation as well. These are just some of the companies that we work with here. As I mentioned, SpaceX, Fender Guitar, Boeing. They hire out of our facility every 6 weeks. Our normal graduating class is anywhere between 15 to 25 students every 6 weeks. We are rebranding NTMA Training Centers is soon going to be NTMA Machinist Career College. We want to make sure that people understand that what we do on a daily basis. If you visit our website, you're going to see our story. We do have probably the best placement rating of any career college. We've been doing this for over 50 plus years. We're not a money grab trade school by any means. Our vision is, get individuals into our program, let them know that there are opportunities, no matter what their background is, so that they can get the education that they need, that they possibly could get at a 2 or 4-year college, and let them grow from there. Again, our network of employers encourage the evolution of their career growth. We do offer dance training once they do graduate our program. We offer CNC programming. We offer advanced robotics. We offer advanced parts inspection. And we actually go to employers and offer these classes. They're at their facilities as well. So again, we're here to let the population understand that don't let your past define you. Don't let it put you in a box and say, well, this is where you belong. Because believe it or not, we have instructors at our facility that's for one reason or another were incarcerated, and now they're a vital part of our success there at NTMA. It's for me, it's been very, very enjoyable to watch the individuals come through our PAC program, sign up for school, watch the evolution of their growth, and to hear their success stories once they're placed. It's an awesome feeling. This is my first time working for a nonprofit. I come from a background of helping people make lots and lots of money. So this is my first time marketing for something like this, and it's by far the most enjoyable position I've ever been in. Not only do I love what I do, but I actually love the fact that I get to see how what we do at NTMA change people's lives for the better. And again, we're just excited to have the opportunity to speak here and to let everybody know what our program is about. We're always open for tours. We invite the community out to our facility every 6 weeks. We have an open house, so to speak. Our next open house is May 14th, and we invite everybody to come out. But again, give us a call. We can schedule tours anytime. As I mentioned, we are sponsors of Discovery Channel's robots. These are some of the robots on the slide you see here that we actually make parts for and sponsor at our facility there. These robots are actually housed at our school right now, being that the show's not filming right now. And you know, it's a fun hands-on program. I myself have gone through a couple of the trainings, and not knowing anything about a wrench from a screwdriver, it's amazing. Yeah, it's a really great program, and everybody at NTMA loves what they do. And again, we're more of a family than we are coworkers, and that's what brings us and drives us to be part of organizations like this. We're just hoping to bring more people in and let them know, hey, there's opportunities out there for you. Just don't let your past define you. I appreciate you guys giving me the time to speak, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. Thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Does anybody have any questions while I pull up the video of like your testimonial video from one of your students?
I have two questions. This is Arturo with Department of Rehab. Do you guys have any accommodations for any students with disabilities, like a specific learning disability?
Yeah, so we work with a foundation called ECF, Exceptional Children's Foundation, but they actually placed about 24 individuals that have been on the spectrum for autism. We've graduated about 65–70% of those individuals that have come through the program, and they seem to be doing great. Very, very detailed oriented. ECF, what they do as an organization is they shadow those students throughout the 7-month program. And I know that they do work, ECF works closely with the Department of Rehab to get those students funded.
And then second question, for someone who may not qualify for the different programs that you have, what's the total cost of the program?
The cost of the program is $14,500. But we've never had, as I mentioned, you either qualify for a Pell Grant, which covers half of that cost. I would say 95% of those coming out of reentry, we've got them placed in our program, completely paid for.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
Anybody else have any other questions? That was a great question. No? Okay, I'm gonna, hopefully the sound will share. Give me a second here.
My name is Benny. I'm a student at NTMA Training Centers of Southern California. Before NTMA, I made some bad choices. I got incarcerated, and after I got out, I wanted to change my life. The training that I'm getting to reach my goals is pretty basic. It's a 7-month course, and from top to bottom, they're trying to cover everything and give me all the experience that I need to go out in the workforce to get what I need to make this a career.
My favorite part about the program is being able to get on the machines and have a product in hand that I built, that I did is great.
What makes NTMA Training Centers unique is that it is a quick course that's 7 months. They get a lot of training, and after 7 months, they start working, and that's just incredible.
Yeah, that's just a little bit about our program. Benny has gone on to become a CNC programmer with a company out in Chino Hills. He's doing really, really well. Again, he's just one of our dozens upon dozens of success stories.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank
Any
you.
other last round for questions? And otherwise we'll move on with the rest of the agenda. No? Okay. So give me a second here to reshare my screen. Everyone will see. All right, so we, with the lived experience speaker program, we weren't able to go inside the jails this month. It was my fault. I forgot to plan it, and April seemed to be a really busy month, but I just found out yesterday from Melody that Lisa just got her clearance app approved. So she'll be going through the security orientation on later this month. So then we can get Lisa to go in there and be able to share her story. So I'm really excited for Lisa to go in there and for us to go back in there. And then, uh-oh, I dropped out. Sorry, everyone, it looks like I dropped out there for a second. Anyways, oh, here we go. This is why I have two devices at the same time, so that if this happens, I shouldn't have these issues. Anyway, so we haven't had any new submissions for the flyer, so the flyer hasn't been updated anytime soon. But the more individuals that and NTMA, oh my gosh, make sure I get the acronym correct, is in the flyer for individuals, and there's usually at least one or two individuals that are interested in it when we go inside and we talk about the resources. So just so you know, Steve. Jennifer?
Yeah, the South Coast, which is Orange County, the next PAC meeting will be Wednesday, May 11th, the second Wednesday. It's always the second Wednesday of the month, 10 a.m. at Streetlight Church in Westminster. Please come by. Any provider who's on the call today who's never been, please come by. We want to thank NTMA. They are one of our most loyal PAC supporters. I knew them in LA, and now they're at Orange County all the time. So it's an incredibly productive meeting for the reentry population, great for networking. If you just want to combine the network, no problem. Thank you, Megan. And then there's our resource calendar up there. We have Project Kinship at the parole office now. Working Wardrobes is there. And our long-term lifer meeting is always the second Saturday. If anybody needs that information, you can email me at any time. Thank you, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. And I'm glad that the PAC meetings are back in person.
Yes.
And if anyone hasn't been to the PAC meeting in person yet, they should, because at Streetlight Church, if you're hungry, they serve you food. So,
Yeah, they grill food for everybody after the PAC meeting. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So come for lunch.
Now they do a great job.
You sold me. Best PAC meeting in California, best one.
Yes. So Pastor Santos is great. So I also have Geo Group. They have their monthly, it's the third Wednesday where providers such as ourselves can share our resources with their clients. So this will be included in the recap email as along with the information for the PAC meeting and the calendar as well. So we are, does anybody have any other updates that they'd like to share with the rest of the group? Otherwise, I'm going to give you, about 12 minutes left of your life back from this meeting so that you can go on with your merry day. Any other questions?
Somebody wants Steve's information in the chat.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I just shot it in the chat, Steve. Can I verify it's scastaneda@ntmamcc.org?
That's correct.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome, great. If no one has any other updates or anything else they'd like to share, I want to again say thank you to Steve and Antonio for Steve for presenting your programs and all the great work that you're doing for the community, you know. And then Antonio sharing your story and, you know, making everyone jealous that you don't work for them. Amity Foundation is really lucky to have you. So you're doing really good work. So keep it up. So thank you all for being here, and I hope you have, you know, a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully to see you at our next meeting on May 25th. You can either come in person at the Human Works Foundation, or you can, you know, come by Zoom. I know Zoom is a lot easier. We have all these meetings, so you know, please feel free to come if you like in person or by Zoom. So thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.